Hey everybody, can you guys hear me? And loud and clear. Are you guys able to see me clean and clear? Please comment in video at the I am at home, as you can see in my sound. Today I want to talk about Dynaudio, of course, and you guys saw the news by now, right? You guys have seen the news about Dynaudio making an official statement about their departure from the USA. And we're going to talk about Wilson Audio right next to me today. Yes, if you're a Wilson owner, you may want to be tuning in right now. I got a few things to say about this product that's right behind me that you can see right now, the Wilson Audio What Puppy 50th anniversary speaker, which is powered, as you know by now, by the Goldman Tellus right behind me. Goldman Tellus 2800 amplifiers, along with the Nemesis reference preamplifier. So, can you guys hear me loud and clear? Is there any sort of distortion at the moment before I get started? I know the last video that I made about the unpacking of these speakers behind me, towards the end of the video, there was a little bit of clipping going on, popping sounds. I don't know what happened there, to be honest with you guys. I'm not exactly happy about that, but it is what it is. I think the video did quite well. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you go to this YouTube and watch me unpack these speakers right behind me. It's a really, really cool video. I've spent a lot of money on the video part of my footage. As you guys have seen over the last few weeks, the image quality of my content is as good as it gets, as good as YouTube will allow. Just like right now, you're watching me on a Sony high resolution camera. Okay, I want to make sure I display the rooms. Okay, I will be getting some lighting for the rooms right behind the camera, some of these special spotlights that will even give you greater sense of depth and how beautiful these rooms came out. Okay, so it is important that you guys are watching and tuning in, okay? But anyway, today's video, as I mentioned earlier, will be about two interesting topics. Before I get started, you know the deal. If you're looking for used hi-fi gear, okay, make sure you check out my YouTube, make sure you check out my page, jaysaudiolab.com. Okay, a lot of ultra hi-fi gear gets listed there. Every week I have something new for you guys there, listed on that website. I just took delivery of a Dynaudio 861 stereo amplifier from one owner, as well as a Dynaudio 891 product. Those two pieces together do fantastic things, okay? So I haven't had a chance to uncrate them, unpack them, but if you're looking for a Dynaudio 861 amplifier and the matching sibling, the 891, I believe it is a preamplifier / streamer piece, you really need to be tuning in or send me a message. Email me, jaudiolab@gmail.com. I also just took delivery of a MSB reference DAC, which will be listed. I haven't had a chance to list it. Great performing DAC. As you know, it has been officially discontinued by MSB. I have at the moment 3 MSB Select 2 DACs. Okay, if you're watching me right now, the reason why you need to pay attention closely is because all of these DACs from MSB that I have come directly from the factory, okay? The manufacturer has gone through them top to bottom. This is not the same as if you go right now on a used hi-fi website and you buy an MSB DAC from someone else. It is not the same thing as buying through me. My DACs come from the factory, okay? I actually have them basically go through the DAC top to bottom and they come back with a clean bill of health. Do not embark on buying a used Select 2 DAC from MSB from some random dude on the internet selling that will send you a box and forget about you the moment you take delivery. If you buy those from me, either one of those, whether it's a reference MSB DAC, which I have available at the moment in black color, or the Select 2, which I have 3 of them, 2, I believe, do not have the digital director. One of them does. If you buy through me, you're going to get my support. These came from the factory to me. Okay. I want to make sure I say that. It matters when you're buying secondhand hi-fi. Okay. It matters. I did the work for you. So you don't have to be concerned with, how long has it been in use, and concerned that something may not be working perfectly. There is going to be probably a problem with an input for all you know, or an output. You don't have to worry about that with me, okay? I went through that already with the factory. So make sure you check out my website, jaysaudiolab.com. If you are looking for an MSB Select 2 or a reference MSB, let me know. I have not listed the reference DAC yet, but it will be listed, and I suspect that one is going to go really fast. Really fast, as well as the Dynaudio 861 stereo amplifier with the matching 891. Those two, the 891 with the 861 Dynaudio, are incredible electronics for, I am sure, some of you right now watching me can utilize those two. Unfortunately, as I have mentioned in the past, I don't have the time to evaluate, to review everything I take delivery of. I got too much gear, guys, way too much equipment. Okay, I handpick what I want to talk about. And with that being said, before I forget, make sure you become a part of my Facebook group. As a matter of fact, I'm here to tell you, the first ones to discover that I had these speakers in the room was my Facebook community, okay, and also my ultra hi-fi group, which happens to be approximately 22 members right now on WhatsApp. So they saw videos, they saw images, long before the video was released on this channel, my YouTube channel. So you all watching me are the last ones to get, okay, the latest and greatest from me. If you want to get even deeper things, deeper discovery, things, images about what the hell is going on a day-to-day, you either need to become a member of my ultra hi-fi group or become a free member of my Facebook group. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Look me up, Jay's Audio Lab. I'm going to link to this. I'm going to put the link of my Facebook group in the description of this video. It's very simple. Free again. Not my ultra hi-fi group. That's not free. But there are reasons why that is, which you'll discover once you become a member, as far as why my ultra hi-fi group is the closest you can get to the action. Whatever I have going on, these guys are getting the latest and greatest. As trucks pull up, they're getting information about what's here now, what's discovered. Unfortunately, with YouTube, I have to edit video. You guys know I have to do a lot of things I need to do on YouTube to give you a polished video, which is the video you saw of me on creating these speakers. That was a lot of work. I had to edit that video. It takes hours to put that together. All right. So with that being said, there are 70 of you, and I'm sure you guys are super interested in knowing what the hell is going on with Dynaudio. I don't have any real facts, first and foremost. I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, I don't have any real information as far as what happened with Dynaudio, why they exited. But we're going to have a very healthy discussion. If there is a distributor at the moment watching me, hi-fi distributor at the moment watching me, and you deal with European brands, I would love to know your insights as to why this is taking place. In your personal opinion, given the fact that you are a distributor, I would love to know if you perhaps can chime in the comment section and give the audience an idea as to why you think this took place, why Dynaudio has exited the US market, what happened. Now, I will give you a little bit of history about Dynaudio. As you know, it's from Denmark. Okay, they have some of the best loudspeakers that money can buy. As a matter of fact, my early days with Dynaudio were special. If I'm being honest, when I heard Dynaudio at a hi-fi store in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for the first time, I believe the name of the hi-fi store was Sound Advice. It's no longer open. That store closed a long time ago. But that was the first time I heard a Dynaudio product, and I think they were using Macintosh products. I can't remember. Dynaudio blew me away the very first day I listened to them. So much so that I embarked on a quest. I was on a quest to find a Dynaudio product in my early beginnings. And I believe the first one that I owned was the Dynaudio C1 Platinum. Incredible bookshelf stand mount speaker. You can actually order the stands for them. It was some of the best performance that I've ever heard out of a stand mount speaker. As a matter of fact, I believe the Dynaudio C1 started it all for stand mounts. They were the very first loudspeaker that really defied the laws of physics. Many of us never knew that a stand mount speaker could sound as good as that C1 did. Incredible bass, incredible bottom end, enormous sound stage from two tiny, very inefficient loudspeakers. I believe they were like 83 dBs, very hard to drive. Okay, but that speaker really taught me what hi-fi was all about. Soon after that, I owned the C2 Platinums, went on to buy the C4s for my room in Florida. Actually, the C4s lived there for some time. It was a love affair as well with the C4s. And then eventually I bought a pair of Evidence Temptations from a local dealer in South Florida. I remember that's the first time I actually ended up meeting the owner of High-End Palace. Larry is the name. He sold me the first pair of Evidence Temptation Dynaudios, and that was really a spectacular loudspeaker. And so I know soon after that, Dynaudio was sold to the Chinese. Now remember, Dynaudio started in the late 70s, I believe, here in the US. So it was like 45 years before they finally withdrew from US territory. They were sold to the Chinese in October of 2014, more or less. So that's approximately, 12 years? It's going to be 11 years now since 12 years since they were sold to the Chinese. I believe the Chinese own 83% of the brand. A lot of interesting things happened since then, if I'm being honest with you. I remember being unable to get a discount on Dynaudio products in my early days. That's with the platinum generation of products, the C1, the C4s, the C2 platinum generation. Okay, I remember that I couldn't get a deal to save my life. I remember used market sales were through the roof on Dynaudio products. Everyone wanted a Dynaudio product. Everyone and their mother. I was one of them too. I'm not gonna lie to you. But things, in my opinion, began to change soon after they were sold to the Chinese, okay? And that was in 2014, as I mentioned. They developed other products. They revamped the lines. They discontinued what I think put them on the map. And they ended up doing Contours, I believe it was the name of one of the lines. And there was another line of products that they released. I don't remember the names of every model, but what I can say, what I'm prepared to say is the following. I felt like after the sale of the brand to the Chinese, for some reason, I don't feel like people were calling for Dynaudio. I don't feel like in the US, audiophiles were really thrilled to own Dynaudio products. I don't remember like seeing a lot of conversations on forums. I don't remember seeing a lot of people to show like a sense of pride by owning the latest and greatest loudspeaker from Dynaudio. And I don't know why that was. I really don't know why that was. I'm assuming it's all tied to the brand being sold to the Chinese. I'm speculating here. I don't have any proof of what I'm saying, but I feel like it has to do with that. Okay, before they were sold to the Chinese, man, I remember people just looking really hard at any Dynaudio product that showed up on the used market. It was listed and it was gone like this, gone. But after 2014, I don't feel like that was the same effect. At shows, I remember seeing occasionally a pair of Dynaudios. Can't remember, let me look it up really quick so that I can be clear on what products I am talking about, because it was the Dynaudio, I'm looking at the line, Confidence 60s. I don't remember seeing a Dynaudio Confidence 60 at a show. It may have been there and I missed it. But I don't remember a lot being said out and about the Confidence line, okay? I don't remember seeing a Confidence 50. I don't remember seeing again, a lot of conversations about Dynaudio overall. So if you know anything about the brand, you got to remember Dynaudio makes sound systems for Bugatti, I believe Volvo as well, and I can't remember. I think it's Volkswagen too. I can't remember, but I know they're in the car industry as well. So my deduction from all of this is that one or two of the reasons why Dynaudio may have withdrawn from the US is because one, the sales were not there. Okay, that's obvious. Okay, if they were killing it in the US, why would they be leaving? Why? Makes no sense, right? So they are clearly not selling enough product in the US. Clearly not selling. Okay, 11 years after they were sold to the Chinese, it took that long for them to realize we're not doing anything in the US. We're not even relevant. We're not selling enough. And what's interesting is it's great product. As a matter of fact, you guys saw my video from Expona where I damn near did backflips. I really cannot do backflips. I'm too heavy. But I damn near did backflips over those Dynaudio stand mounts that are active. Let me see if I can find the model. I think it's a Confidence product. Can't remember, Dynaudio 20s, I think they were called. I can't remember what they were called, but I'm looking for them, but I don't have the time. But anyway, those active speakers that they had, okay, blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. It was one of the best speakers, Confidence 28. I got him open now. The Confidence 28 were some of the best sounding speakers I have ever heard from Dynaudio, by miles. An amazing speaker. As a matter of fact, I wanted to buy the demo pair they had at Exponent, if I'm being honest here. I really did. In hindsight, I'm kind of glad that I didn't buy them, because I could have been stuck with a product that's no longer supported here in the US. So it's not about the quality of the product. It's not about the sound of the product. It has nothing to do with that. But I feel as if American audiophiles usually shy away from products that are owned by the Chinese. Okay, I feel like there is a little bit of pushback. I feel like American audiophiles don't want to be associated with that. Okay, because for Dynaudio to leave, it's a combination of sales, it's a combination of the brand being sold to the Chinese, and also, you know, I feel like there are many more options now in this country for audiophiles. The competition is fierce in the US. You have to understand that. It is not, it's actually loudspeakers are some of the most difficult hi-fi components to sell, regardless of the brand. Regardless of the brand, it doesn't matter what brand it is some of the most difficult transactions for any dealer to conduct. Very hard. If you're wondering why is that, Jay, it's simple. Does it look good to your eyes? Is it the right color? Because there are many color selections, which is not the case with hi-fi components like amplifiers and preamplifiers. You usually only have a black color or a silver color for electronics. For speakers, a lot of color selections, right? So is it the right shape? Does it look good? Is it the right color? Does it have the wife approval factor? And does it work in your room? Many different factors affect the sale of a loudspeaker. You have to understand that is what's very difficult about loudspeaker sales. Many dealers tell me all the time, man, it's hard to move a loudspeaker. People walk into the store and they are blown away by the speakers. They love the way they look. They love the construction. They love the cabinet. They love everything about the speaker, but they don't cut the check. And when they get home, they tell the dealer, my wife didn't like the pictures I showed her of the speakers. My wife thinks they're too big for the living room after she saw them at your store. It's a very difficult thing. Usually amps are all rectangular in shape. Preamps, same thing. Not much changes when it comes to that. But speakers, remember, aesthetically speaking, speakers have the biggest gap from product to product when it comes to looks, as opposed to amps, as opposed to DACs, as opposed to preamps. For the most part, those are about the same size. Okay, so this is something that I think could have easily affected Dynaudio as well, because we have a lot of brands now. Also, there's something else that I think Dynaudio never had to face in the past, which no one is talking about. No one is talking about this, okay? A lot of other brands, I can think of Magical, for example, entered the more affordable hi-fi. If you think about it, when Dynaudio was killing it, right? I believe the C1s, Platinums were like 12 grand at that point in time. Okay, it was a killer speaker for the money. But now you have Magical making stand mounts for $8,000, $9,000, the A1s. So that puts a monkey wrench in the entire operation or idea, or the segment that Dynaudio may have built for others. You got Borison building full range, loudspeakers like the X6s that I believe are like somewhere in the 20s. I mean, it's a great price performance proposition, something that did not exist in the past. And so I think this is actually hurting, many hi-fi brands, but that's competition. That's what this is all about, is competition. Okay, and so overall, the lack of sales, in my opinion, has a lot to do with that. And of course, competition is much more difficult than ever before. Many hi-fi brands from abroad, from outside the United States, would kill to be in this market. Many of them would kill to be relevant in the US. Relevant is the word I'm looking for. Would kill to actually be relevant and to even just be in the same room as Wilson Audio, as Magical, as Boulder Electronics, and other Macintosh, right? They would kill to be showcased with those brands at hi-fi shows because their whole, idea is to just generate sales in the US. The US market is huge for hi-fi brands. You have no clue how hard manufacturers work to penetrate the US market. It takes a lot of money, a lot of resources. It takes the great distribution, which I repeat, if you are a distributor watching this, give us some insights as to why you think something like this is taking place. Why is Dynaudio exiting? A brand that has a lot of name behind it. This is not a no-name brand. This brand has, some of the best driver technology known to us. All the resources to make some of the best drivers that we know. Incredible sound. There's nothing to talk negatively about when it comes to the Dynaudio brand. Nothing. The sound itself is exquisite. And it fails? Now, I have, of course, in my opinion, opinions as to what other loudspeaker brands might make their way out of the US. I'm not going to speak on those because it's not good for my brand, if I'm being honest, okay? It's not good for me to tell you guys who I think might be next. I have an idea of who might be next, okay? Based on the small amount of dealers that sell the brand, the sales, and the lack of conversations, because the lack of conversations about a product, in my opinion, is the number one factor why sales are usually next to none. The lack of conversations out and about on YouTube, on forums, on any website, reviews, in my opinion, leads to what just happened to Dynaudio. Okay, so now that I have said that, I'm going to look at some questions to see if you guys have anything interesting to say about this. Okay, let me see. Someone says, I suspect it has to do with so much competition in the 3 to 4 figure loudspeaker market. They may have determined that the benefits were not justified by the investment and costs. So I just said exactly what you are basically saying. The competition at different price points is a whole new level now. Before, Dynaudio was by themselves with some of the best bookshelf speakers I've ever heard to this day. And now, tons of options. Tons of loudspeaker brands at that price point, confusing a lot of the audiophiles that would have the means to buy this product, confusing that segment, people interested in that segment of loudspeakers. Dynaudio will continue to support their products in the US. So yes, so I believe they would. However, look, what I'm going to say is my opinion. Okay, and I know Dynaudio is probably going to watch this. Let's be honest, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if I get an email about what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. I've already gone over why I think they left the US. I've already said it's an incredible product. I'm confused as to why such a good sounding product is gone, okay, other than the reasons that I just gave, which are not necessarily probably the main reasons why. I don't have any proof of what I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? Even though they're claiming they're going to support the products in the US, that's from far away. That's sending smoke signals to Europe. Okay? Europeans, whether you hate it or like it, okay? Right now, a lot of them are on vacation until August. Right now, they're closed for the summer. Right now, try that in America. Go on. Try to shut down your business for 3 weeks and go away and go have a beautiful trip across the US. Try it. You'll be under a bridge in no time. Try that. So when you're buying Dynaudio and you're going to get support from them, I don't know if it's coming from China or Denmark, good luck with that. Good luck trying to get support. Good luck trying to get somebody to answer you. Right now, I know of hi-fi brands that you email them and they don't even get back to you. Right now. Right now, I know hi-fi, European hi-fi brands that you email them and they don't even get back to you. And then I got to reach out to dealers that sells these brands. And then dealers have a hard time getting an answer from these hi-fi brands that are in Europe. What does that say about you, the customer, buying a Dynaudio speaker, and you don't get any support? Then what are you going to do? You're not going to buy Dynaudio. You don't want to deal with that. My personal opinion, I wouldn't buy any more Dynaudio speakers if I were you. I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because there's no representation in the United States of America. None. And so what happens is now you can for sure say that if you buy a Dynaudio product today, you have no warranty because they just left. And if you buy it overseas, you can't have warranty in the US unless they're going to make a statement and say, if you buy Dynaudio products from us in China or Denmark or Europe and you live in the US and you import it, we're going to give you full warranty in the US. Maybe they're going to make that statement. But last I checked, when you buy products from overseas, from out the US, you don't get any warranty in the US or support if they have no representation here. So that means Dynaudio owners, yes, I'm telling you, I'm speaking to you guys, more than likely, your product is going to take a beating in the secondhand market right now. More than likely. More than likely, when you list it, good luck trying to sell it. So if you're in love with the Dynaudio product, good for you. You don't have to worry about this. But those of you that were considering selling your product before this was announced, you just took a beating. Huge beating on that product. Why? Because there's no US support. I read the announcement. It doesn't say they have US support. And if Dynaudio is watching me, if you missed that part, then make a statement that you will continue to support and honor warranty to those that bought a product which are still under your factory warranty. But any future sales that you make that come from overseas, you're not going to get any US support or warranty. Make that statement. Because you left that open-ended, Dynaudio. You did. You didn't talk about that. So from where I'm sitting, those of you that have Dynaudio products, you just took a massive beating on that speaker. When you sell it, you're going to be bleeding. Let's put it that way. You will. Period. I don't make this up. I don't make this up. This is what happens with brands. This is why Darzeel sells for 30 cents on the dollar on the used market. There's no representation in the US. This is why it sells for 30 cents on the dollar. One reason amongst other reasons out there. So my recommendation again, if you have a Dynaudio product and you love it, continue to enjoy it. Let this do not affect you or bother you at all because it's great product. I repeat, it's great sounding product. It's nothing bad about, there's nothing negative to say about the product. But when it comes to resale, that's a separate conversation. We can turn the page and we can open up a discussion as far as how that affects the secondhand market for Dynaudio. I believe Dynaudio will be on sale on AudioGone and other websites for 20 cents on the dollar. That means 80% off of MSRP, if you're asking me. That's what I think it will go for in the secondhand market. And this is because they left the US. That's the reason why. All right? Dynaudio has been prolific in the pro audio world for years. So have heard. So I actually have heard that in the past. So I understand that. The cheap stuff is pretty good now. Car, home audio, and home theater and 2-channel is next. Well, I mean, you think the home theater is going to be next. Interesting. Interesting. I am sure they will still offer support. It is a consumer-friendly company. A company that with speakers on sale could be a different story. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They didn't say those of you that have product under warranty will still get support in replacement parts if you need them, if they are covered under warranty. I didn't see that. No one said that. No one addressed that. All I'm saying is if you have a Dynaudio product and you have been thinking about selling it, you couldn't have picked the worst time to sell your product. You could not have picked a worse time to sell your product. If you could have gotten 40 cents on the dollar, you're going to probably get 20 cents on the dollar now on your product. I don't know of anyone who would pay more than 20 to 30 cents on the dollar for a Dynaudio product in the second-hand market. I repeat, in the secondhand market in the US, not Europe, in the US. I'm not going to talk right now about this, about B&W. We're talking about Dynaudio right now. I want to stay on topic. If you have any questions about Dynaudio, please put them up in the comments section. Sometimes mismanagement is not revealed until it's too late. Yeah, sometimes it could be a mismanagement thing, JM. Really don't know, right? I don't have any contact with Dynaudio, I must say. I don't know of anyone. I have not texted with Dynaudio. They don't talk to me. I don't talk to them. There is no bad blood or, we're not enemies. We just have never connected, okay? I want to make sure I say that. I have nothing against the brand. I'm simply speaking about what happened and obviously what could now potentially happen to the resale value of these products in the secondhand market. So a dealer that you talked to said it's Greenland and the tariffs. They're pissed. Plus China. I own the Contour 60Is. They are terrific. He said sales are better than ever. Their numbers, he said sales are better than ever. So that dealer is claiming that he's killing it, right? Your dealer is claiming that he's killing it. Sales are better than ever. So I guess the tariffs on China, on Dynaudio, which I missed, by the way, and it's an interesting point, could also be a huge factor as to why they needed to pull out. Because although sales are being generated, the tariffs are eating a lot of these profits. Essentially, the profit margin is being paid to the government, the US government, basically. That's what's happening. I understand that. Okay, and I did not think about that. Thank you for bringing up that interesting point. I have a feeling they're saying this is to generate sales and we'll come back with we appreciate the love and we will stay. I don't know about that. I think you're making a story there. Home theater drove many speaker sales over the first part of 2020. Okay, maybe so. I had the Focus 140 and one speaker inside the wires were out of phase. The guy I bought these from was listening to This Way for years. I noticed it immediately. Something was off. Well, I got to tell you, I know of a lot of speaker brands that will go nameless that have had wires out of phase. Came like that from the factory. That segment has drastically reduced home theaters sold 5 to 7 years ago rather than just 2. This is not hot anymore at all. Well, it's not hot because, in my opinion, Elliot, if I'm being honest here, I think the brand being sold to the Chinese has affected how hot Dynaudio, the brand, is. But that has nothing to do with the performance of the product. I repeat. The product could be great, but if you dislike those associated with the brand, I don't know how effective that is when it comes to transactions. Maybe, to your point, American audiophiles just simply didn't like the fact that it was bought by the Chinese. There was some pushback. Maybe psychologically, they don't want that. Okay, one thing about American audiophiles you must understand, and I know Elliot, obviously you understand this, is that anytime something is associated with the Chinese, they don't want to support that effort. They don't want to spend their dollars on that. They rather put it elsewhere. There are many audiophiles like that, many American audiophiles that are that way. You can never change their way of thinking. There's nothing you can do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give out names of other brands that have been bought by the Chinese, but I don't know if this is going to be the same effect that will happen to them, because remember, Dynaudio was sold to the Chinese in October of 2014. So it's going to be 16 years in October of this year since they were sold. What does that say? Does that mean that it's at least a decade before we see any hi-fi brand that was bought by the Chinese, that before we see them exit the US? Is that what the tenure will be? Something to think about, right? So I will say yes. I mean, it's not hot anymore. The product is not something that's relevant maybe in some people's eyes, but don't believe the product is, bad product. I think it's great sounding loudspeaker brand. I also feel like aesthetically, those big black chunky plastic front baffles are polarizing. They might be a genius from an engineering perspective, but I don't think they're an attractive design. Look, we know this is in the eye of the beholder, but Dynaudio sold for a long time, okay, with those looks. I don't think the brand will be disliked because they stayed true to their original design from as far as the aesthetics are concerned of the loudspeaker. I don't think that would skew people to buy something else. If they rejected the design from the early days, then I can see your point. But by then, people have been conditioned to accept that's what the speaker looks like. If not, we can talk about these guys here. Wilson Audio. It's a very polarizing look. Many people don't like the way they look, but they sell the shit out of loudspeakers. They sell more loudspeakers probably. I don't know if they sell more than Focal because Focal is a much larger brand, but they sell a ton of speakers, Wilson Audio. And they're not gonna win an award for the best looks either, for having the best looks. They're not going to, but they sell a ton. So I don't think your point here about the looks of the front baffle of a Dynaudio speaker being the reason why it's basically no longer a sexy product, so we're gonna buy something else. If the product sounds damn good and is sold in basically the same form as what it is today, I don't think that matters. I think that has nothing to do with why they're no longer here. In your experience only, who are the 1 to 2 European brands that have great service? Thanks. Look, that I have had great experience with. I've had great experience with 2 brands, CH Precision and Solution. I have nothing but good things to say about how they handle service, Solution and CH Precision. Nothing negative to say about them. Class act when it comes to handling repairs. Immediacy, quick, responsive. Someone emails you the next day, right away, you get an email. Oh, we're sorry to hear that you're having problems. Can you do us a favor? Can you unplug it, plug it here, remove that cable, turn it on? Do you still hear the same thing? Is it still popping? Is it still buzzing? Change the outlet, use another outlet. They're very good at troubleshooting before the product is sent overseas. Not for Solution. Solution is now fixing product in Tennessee. Okay, but they're both great at repairing, like fast. In some cases, better than American products, better than domestic products when it comes to fixing problems. So very few brands, although not many, very few brands overseas are just as fast, if not faster, at fixing products. Okay, but there are some that are standouts, and I can name CH Precision and Solution. How strong is B&W in the US? I think it's a pretty strong brand. It's like Macintosh, B&W, but in the loudspeaker world. Okay, it's really, everyone knows about it, even women that don't listen to music. They go to Best Buy, they see a B&W. Wow, that's the speaker I've seen on TV. I've seen that speaker on YouTube. Oh, it's cool to see it for the first time. They recognize B&W. Non-audiophiles recognize B&W. That's the type of penetration they have in the US and abroad, not just the US. B&W is the Macintosh of loudspeakers. I think many dealers would agree with me. Many dealers. We need affordable audio lover products. We probably do. ATC and Revell would be great replacement for Dynaudio. Okay. It is hard to find something similar in sound like Dynaudio sound. Don't know what comes close. PMC maybe. I have never heard PMC. Never heard it. I've heard of the brand. Never heard it personally. ATC is close to Dynaudio sound. They both make studio monitors, so it makes sense. Supposedly, Spender is a closer match to the Dynes. Okay. 20 cents on the dollar to 30 cents on the dollar. My man, you can disagree with the resale value of Dynaudio, and I respect your opinion. Respect it. But from where I'm sitting, if I'm looking for a secondhand Dynaudio, I am not paying more than 20 to 30 cents on the dollar. I'm not. Period. There's no support. And if you think emailing China and Denmark is a fun experience, I can assure you it never, for the most part, it hasn't been for me. And I'm an influencer. Imagine what can happen to you getting answers. Now, maybe I'm wrong with Dynaudio because, again, remember, I have never had a relationship with them where I needed service for any other products. But the moment they exit the US, it's a complete different resale value. Complete. Had the Dynaudio Contours 3.0 in the 90s. Great speaker. Really great speaker, man. So Dynaudio makes great speakers. You buy a pair, it will serve you for decades. Pretty rare to need service on speakers in general. Electronics can go bad, but it's so rare for quality speakers. So I agree with you. Speakers rarely go bad unless, of course, you mishandle that volume or you connect amplifiers that are on to the speaker and then you can blow up the tweeter by doing so. It happens all the time. I agree 1,000% with you. However, it doesn't mean that you don't think about the warranty, because if it's a $90,000, because let me tell you, if it's a $100,000 speaker, you better think about the warranty. You better think about the warranty. That tweeter can cost you $5,000. You know the tweeters on that Martin Mingus that's behind that you can't see. Don't ask me how much those tweeters are, those diamond tweeters. You can buy a car for a pair for what they cost, the diamond tweeters in that Martin Mingus orchestra. You can buy a used car. Even though what you're saying is true, well, what could go wrong? You don't want for something to go wrong on an expensive product. I think manufacturers not producing products for the pro audio world, meaning touring loudspeaker rigs and recording studio monitors, are not going to survive. Multiple income streams are a must. So you're saying loudspeaker manufacturers should diversify their portfolio. They should never rely on hi-fi sales. They should be like TAD. TAD is also in the pro world, right? TAD speakers are incredible speakers. Hell, I may bring another TAD speaker at some point in this room. Okay, and so I agree with you. They also have, the pro world to lean on. However, they also were not successful in the US. They were looking for a distributor for the longest. They had their last distributor in New York. They parted ways. They were not selling enough. Well, I think personally, it's not the quality of the product. Great product, again, from the Japanese. Incredible. TAD speakers are some of the best speakers I've owned. 100%. You know the problem is? You know what the problem is? They keep jacking up the prices and the products look the same. Identical. It's like a copy and paste, pay me more. That's the problem. And I think the Japanese are the first ones to raise their hand and say, yeah, they have a new R1 TX reference speaker in like this green color, like a special wood that they get up in the mountains in Japan or somewhere, and they're charging like an arm and a leg for that, a huge upcharge. There is no performance improvements. It's just the finish. So at that point, are you selling loudspeakers or are you selling furniture? What are you selling? Because if you're going to come at me and tell me that your speaker now is $30,000, $40,000 more because you got some trees in Japan that only few people can reach, and it was a mission to get them down from wherever they were and bring them down to the factory, so you're going to pay an additional 30 grand for those trees, then are you selling furniture or are you selling loudspeakers? Because I don't know of anybody who would pay 30 to 40 grand or whatever the new MSRP is on those speakers the R1s that they have, just because it's a special finish with special woods, maybe smells different too. We're selling hi-fi products here, guys. We're not selling furniture. So TAD had the same effect. Now, I don't know if since then, if they already appointed a new distributor. I believe there might be a North American distributor in Canada for the brand that's now covering the US. I don't know the specifics. If you know, let me know. But this is the reason why they also had trouble with the distribution. They couldn't sell enough hi-fi products. So in a way, TAD is also kind of like Dynaudio, except that they haven't been sold to the Chinese, not yet anyway. Okay, we used to sell bunches of hi-fi speakers, and now a home theater is a soundbar or ceiling speakers. Yeah, home theater has really come to anemic levels. You have great soundbars, by the way, now. Incredible soundbars that will give you the Atmos experience with just a soundbar. It's incredible what they can do with DSP inside of a soundbar. Amazing how good it can sound. So I understand why people don't want in-wall speakers and drilling the walls and running wires and a disaster in their living room, rather than going to their local Best Buy, buying a quality soundbar and just put 2 screws and mount it under their television, and they have incredible sound. And even music that they can stream from their phones for the living room. So home theater world, I don't know where it's gonna go, you know, I would never want to be in the home theater world. I will tell you that right now. No, thank you, sir. Never. I love home theater. I'm an enthusiast. I'm a real video audiophile in the home theater world. I have a great Sony 380 projector that's like $95,000 that I haven't even connected because I haven't gotten to the room where I want to build my theater inside the house. I miss that projector dearly, but I'm afraid also of having it in my possession. And then all of a sudden we have these displays, the mini displays or whatever with bricks and whatever that can drop down to $8,000 for a 150-inch screen. When that happens, I don't know what will happen to projectors. This is another opinion. I think they will respect the consumers who bought the speakers. The Heritage Special comes with an 8-year warranty. Again, I'm not saying they're not going to, but let me ask you, and I'll repeat. Dynaudio, why didn't you make an announcement that you're withdrawing from the US, but the warranty, those of you who have warranty, will still be covered? Why didn't you say that? You left it open for me to ask these questions. Then I look like the bad guy. I look like the bad guy for saying these things. But you didn't say anything. You didn't say, those of you who bought it, who have a receipt, original owners with a receipt from our dealer network in the US, the warranty still remains. If you have a problem, contact your dealer who you bought from, and that dealer can call us to order parts to repair your product. Say that. Make it official, at least. My dealer told me Dynaudio is their biggest seller. I believe it to be a situation where tariffs, in addition to import costs, became too much. I know of a dealer right now that just had to pay 5 figures on tariffs for a loudspeaker that he imported into the United States. He will go nameless, but imagine having to pay 5 figures on tariffs for a loudspeaker. And then people are looking for discounts, okay? Everyone is looking for a deal everywhere. Everyone wants a 20% off, 30% off. And then in the meantime, you all are forgetting that a lot of people here have to pay tariffs. Maybe dealers should hand that bill to the customer and say, I'll give you a discount, but you're liable for the tariffs. Well, what do you mean? Well, I have to pay the tariffs from the profit of this sale. So if I give you 20% off, and I'm having to pay 15% tariff on the product, how much do I make? And then I pay taxes on that extra 5 points or 10 points that I may make on the sale, but then Uncle Sam takes 33% off of that. How much do I make? How much do I make? Enough to go buy groceries, maybe. That's about all I make. You see what I'm saying? But no one talks about it. No one wants to mention the problem, the issue. No one does. I'm assuming you mean the color behind me. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. The UK is probably the biggest producer of great speakers. KEF, B&W, ATC, Monitor Audio. I'm not going to say the UK doesn't have great products. I know they build quality hi-fi products. I know they do. But I don't know about the best producer. That we can debate. Is the UK really better than the US when it comes to making loudspeakers? Are they really? If we're being honest here. Are they really better, the UK, over building real high-end loudspeakers? You guys tell me in the comment section. And if you have a statement and you say yes, give us facts as far as what you mean. I am more referring to getting approval buy-in from a spouse, especially if the spouse is presented several options. Looks, I'm telling you, the looks have a lot to do. I understand that. The looks do, but in the case of Dynaudio, I don't think it has to do with that. I don't. They've stayed true to their design since the beginning. They've never deviated. They didn't make Dynaudio speakers all of a sudden look like Vivid Audio speakers. Vivid Audio speakers, I'm not saying they look ugly or anything, but they didn't transform the look of the Dynaudio to look like a Wilson or a Vivid Audio, or whatever, or a KEF Blade. They stayed more or less the same. So I don't think for Dynaudio is a thing. I don't think that matters for them. Competition is fierce. Yes, the competition is without a doubt fierce. Harder than ever to sell a speaker. Selling speakers is already a hard transaction. It's already a difficult transaction. It has been historically. Imagine having to sell speakers with tariffs on top. Yep. Here in Europe, many of the old Dynaudio customers are turning into Borison instead. That's an interesting, really, Dynaudio customers are turning into Borison owners. Well, I know they're both Danish. That's interesting. That's an interesting fact. I am looking for confidence 50 for 30 cents on the dollar. I will do that deal today. Anyone? Well, ask somebody. If not, stay tuned to the hi-fi sites. Stay very close to them. You'll see what I mean. What front plastic baffles? There's no plastic in my Dynaudio speakers. Maybe their lower end speakers have plastic. I can't say the same with B&W. They fry my ears. Well, in the early 2000s, a friend of mine had Lev's Audio here in Milwaukee. The Dynaudio Contour were incredible. They paired them with Conrad Johnson's. Yeah, I'm telling you, Dynaudio has always delivered incredible performance. Folks, over 200 of you are watching me right now. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Okay, 200 of you are watching me right now. Okay, let's help the channel continue to grow, please. Let's help this video reach more new audiences, okay? Thank you. Speaking of Macintosh, Macintosh didn't, I don't know what you said there. Did Bose acquire, man, you were too late to the party, my friend. You were too late to the party. I feel for the US Dynaudio workers. I laugh when manufacturers call dealers partners. Surprise, we are done. Look, this is the nature of business. Maybe not in Europe, maybe not in Asia, but maybe me working for corporate America for like 20 years. I'm going to tell you, this is how it is in the US. Okay? It's basically, you go to work, you never know when your last day is. You don't get a memo, you don't get an email, you don't get any sort of warning. Today is your last day, sir. We decided to eliminate your position. Thank you for your time. In some cases, if the company is reputable, they'll give you a severance. You'll get some, a certain amount of months pay for the amount of years you have accumulated, okay, or exit packages and stuff like that. But that is very rare, okay? You have to work for a great business, great, company to get paid like that for being let go. Others don't have to give you nothing. They might give you 2 weeks pay. So at least you can make your bills for the next 2 weeks. And after that, you're on your own. This is how it is. This is one of the reasons why I left corporate America. Because I never knew when was my last day. Remember I told you in my early days buying the Martin Logan Montes and having only like enough money to make rent at the end of the week, right? And not knowing that if I was going to get fired. I see it all the time on LinkedIn. People are saying, I got terminated today. I can't believe it. I gave everything to this company. I never called in sick in 20 years. I never, created problems. I was never written up. I was never late. I always stayed 3 hours after, doors closed. And I always put in overtime when I needed to. I was never off during, holidays, during Thanksgiving, during Christmas. They don't give a damn. Companies don't care. They are there to run a business. They're there to make money. You are an employee ID. Do you understand that? If you think you have job stability, you're delusional. You're taking pills. You're on some kind of drug. There is no such thing. It's all mental. When you work for someone else, your last day is whenever they decide is your last day, not because of all the time you put in. There's very, if any, loyalty from any of these, companies. And I'm not talking about the hi-fi world. I'm talking about holistically. Any industry, any business in the US that you work for, there is no loyalty. Okay, and I think a lot of you guys that have been doing this for a long time, not hi-fi, but working for someone, know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter how hard you try, how much you do, how many shirts you give out because you want to make sure people feel comfortable. It doesn't matter what you do. Okay? When they need to cut your head, they will cut your head off and let you go and tell you, we're sorry. Here's a month's pay. Today's your last day. I've seen it many times. It's happened to me. So this is why I decided to do my own thing. See what you see here? This is me. I am responsible for what I don't sell, for what I don't do. When I can't make my bills, it's me. But at least I know I'm the one creating the situation. I can look in the mirror and realize, wow, okay, I'm not selling enough. I really need to start doing other things, figuring out what can I do to continue to sell more product? Who do I need to call? Or, you know what, we got to cut spending because I haven't sold enough. Or, you can make those adjustments. But when you're working for someone else, and you're making that paycheck, the problem is a lot of human beings, myself included at some point, okay, we are used to a structure. We're worker bees. We like to know we have stability. Stability is mental. You don't have stability when you work for someone else. Okay, so hopefully I have answered your point here. There is no such thing. When you work for someone else, you are at their mercy. Unless you're Michael Jordan. Okay, unless you're Michael Jordan, LeBron James, okay, or one elite, or Messi in the World Cup, okay, they can tell you when your last day is as a coach. They're the ones who can tell you who they want as a coach or else you leave. They are a different type of talent worker. They can run the business, even though they don't own it. They can run your business. They'll tell you what to do. So unless you're that talented at what you do, you don't have any control over what you say. Your last day could be tomorrow, you work Monday, could be last day. Thinking in high gear, not knowing last day. So, point completely overwritten by my explanation. Jay, question for your opinion. What's a good alternative sound-wise for Dynaudio Confidence in combination with our, I'm going to tell you right now, the best combination for Dynaudio that I've ever heard, and I'm not telling you because I got it for sale. This is real. Best I've heard with Dynaudio is Sim Audio. Sim Audio and Dynaudio, any dealer that has been doing this for a long time, will not disagree with what I'm saying. Sim Audio Dynaudio has been a beautiful combo. And yes, I will be listing a Sim Audio 861 amp and the matching A91. So if you have interest, let me know before I list it, because it'll go fast. Does it seem like overregulation and tariffs are affecting all free enterprise endeavors? Yeah, probably so, man. Probably so, JM. I will say Italian speaker manufacturers, home, pro, and car are tough to beat. Just saying. Well, yeah, Italian stuff is great. I mean, it's great looking, sounds good, you know, and it has a name. It has this pedigree, right? It's Italian. Everyone, when they say these shoes are Italian, it's a big deal. When this car is Italian, it's probably a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. It's a big deal. Yeah, they build quality stuff. No, quite. Italian has incredible products across the board, not just hi-fi. My wife is a definite no on any Wilson speaker, no matter how good they sound. Man, if you're an audiophile, okay, my opinion, and you've been doing this long enough, and you've never heard a Wilson audio speaker, either in a space or at a good place, dealer setup where it's a curated system in a good listening room, I don't know if you can call yourself an audiophile. I really don't know. I don't know if a dealer can call themselves a real hi-fi dealer if they've never really heard a Wilson audio speaker set up properly somewhere. Now, it doesn't mean it may be your cup of tea and you may be in love with it. But I feel like you can't call yourself, a great dealer or an audiophile if you've never been in front of a properly set up Wilson audio speaker. I had Dynaudio C1 Platinums for almost a decade. At the time, the first I heard them, I was blown away by their detail. Yeah, so was I. Those Dynaudio speakers were fantastic, man. Dynaudio needs high wattage. I said it, remember, C1 Platinums were like 82, 83 dBs. I can't remember. They took a ton of power. A last day at work in the USA, oftentimes the employer is compassionate enough to provide a banker's box for their belongings. Yep. Okay, when it comes to Swedish high-end, if your wife doesn't like Wilson, divorce her right away. Okay, so I saw all your comments. I am going to turn the page from Dynaudio and begin to talk about these guys behind me. Okay, the Wilson Audio Watt Puppy 50th anniversary speaker. If you haven't seen my video of me unpacking these speakers, look it up. It's on my channel. It's the last video before this one, okay? Took a lot of work to edit that video, but a lot of you watched it. So thank you for giving me feedback as well about the quality of the video and, how clean it looks, how clear it looks. I am thankful. Now, there hasn't been any serious sound clips on the speakers other than what I have done on one or two shorts so far, okay? Which is fine. You'll get some sound clips of the speakers playing through this incredible Goldman amplifier, the Telos 2800 behind me, and the Nemesis reference preamplifier. But I'm going to start this conversation about these speakers by saying the following. It's been 2.5 years since I've had a Wilson audio speaker. 2.5. I've heard it. I've heard the XVXs at Expona this year. They sounded fantastic with the new D'Agostino amplifiers. But here's a question to those of you that are Wilson audio owners, all of you watching me that own Wilson audio or will be owners of Wilson audio speakers. We know for the longest, we've heard Audio Research, we've heard D'Agostino, we've heard even Spectral in some systems with Wilson audio products. And they're really good products. All of them are great brands. They work fantastic with Wilson Audio. Will not say anything different. They work incredible. But aren't you all tired of hearing the same combo over and over and over again? Are you guys not exhausted of doing copy and paste? Just kind of replacing the Wilson speaker you've got, putting another Wilson, and do the same act over and over again? Many of you do the same thing. It's like rinse and repeat. I would be tired. I don't know if I could listen to music because I would get saturated of the same sound with the same combos. That's not to say that it doesn't work. I repeat, it works just fine. But if you're ordering the same meal from the restaurant, do you ever wonder if maybe there is something else on the menu you might prefer? How would you know if there's something? You got to try it. And I'm here to tell you, I've heard Wilson with D'Agostino in my hands. I've heard Griffin Audio with the XVXs. I've heard countless amounts of electronics with my Wilsons. In case you do not know, in case this has never been said by me before, this is my 11th pair of Wilson Audio speakers. I do not know of anyone else on YouTube that has had more Wilson Audio speakers than I have. And I have receipts to back them up. Look me up on the older videos. You'll find them all. 11 pairs of Wilson Audio speakers, and I guarantee you there's going to be more added over the next few months. It won't be the last. So I'm here qualified enough to tell you that if you're a Wilson Audio owner, you may want to venture into Goldman Electronics. It's time. It's time you begin to do a little more soul searching is what I call, because for the longest you keep doing the same thing, and there are now more options to your disposal. There is much more that you can be purchasing to enhance the performance of the speaker. Goldman to me adds a level of clarity, resolution, detail that is just really amazing. The way these speakers scale in my room, these tiny speakers, the way they sound in my room, I still can't believe it. I'm like stunned, because I never expected for these speakers to have the level of bass output that they have in my room. It's stunning. And I know that if you go up the line, if you go up to the Sasha V's, I know if you go up to the Alexia V's, things get better. I understand that. I expect that. But I never expected for these small speakers that are very light and with an MSRP of $41,000 to sound the way they do. In here. I was glued to my chair just yesterday listening to these speakers. Playing all day long, track after track. I couldn't get out of my chair. But I also understood it's not just the speakers. It's the whole system, the electronics, the cables, the MSB Cascade doing its thing too. The Shunyata Everest X as my power conditioner. It's the whole thing. I could not believe how amazing my Wilson speakers sounded in here with Goldman Electronics. That's the whole reason why I bought them, if I'm being honest. The whole reason why I bought the Wilsons behind me is, one, of course, is to sell them because they're part of my business. But I wanted to bring them in here because I know I have a lot of diehard Wilson Audio owners. Okay, I know many of you follow me because you've seen my journey. You've seen me own a lot of Wilsons, so you know what I say matters when it comes to how to pair Wilson Audio speakers. Goldman Electronics should be at the top of your list of products in order to get the most out of your Wilsons. Remember, Wilsons are notorious for being power-hungry speakers. They need a lot of control. Okay, forget about what anyone tells you. Wilson speakers need grip. They need control. They need overhead. They need damping factor. If you think you're hearing a Wilson Audio speaker in their full glory with a 20 watt, Class A amplifier from past labs like the SA25, I think it's called, you're delusional. You haven't heard a Wilson Audio speaker. They love power. One of the reasons why they use D'Agostino Relentless amplifiers with them, because they do shine with quality watts. And I'm here to tell you the wattage inside the 2800 Goldman Electronics is doing incredible things with Wilsons that I never heard through the other brands that I had the pleasure of owning with Wilsons. Okay, it's just a different combo that to me shows two things. One, the synergistic effects between Wilson and Goldman is key. It's there. Okay, I'm telling you, it's there. If you've been longing to change out of your electronics, the electronics you're using on your Wilson speakers, I'm telling you right now, look at Goldman. Look at Goldman right away. Start calling dealers. Tell them, Jay, I saw Jay's video. I have Wilsons. Can I come in to listen to Goldman Electronics? I want to come and listen to them because Jay said I need to. Tell them that. Tell your dealers that. Be upfront about it. Tell them where you heard it. Don't be afraid. Let them know. You need to sit out there. You need to listen to Goldman Electronics with Wilson. I promise you. Now, you don't have to go out there and buy, okay, the magnets that I have here. You don't have to buy the TELUS 2800. Okay, you don't have to. But there is a great integrated that Goldman sells for these speakers that I have behind me. Okay, they have incredible integrateds. They have insane control of these speakers. There is a level of like you're there feeling with Goldman Electronics and Wilson that is incredible. And now, mind you, I'm not using transparent cables, which we know is a brand of cables that works quite well with D'Agostino and Wilson. Those three sound great. Also with audio research, we know they sound fantastic. We know that. I'm not using transparent cables, and it sounds incredible with Goldman and Wilson. What does that say to you? What does that really say to you? That the synergistic effects are there. But the problem is, as audiophiles, sometimes we have tunnel vision. We're like this. Wilson, D'Agostino, Audio Research, Spectral, Griffin Audio. That's all we use with Wilson because it sounds good. It does sound good. I repeat, it does sound good. But if you're kind of saturated and tired of the same sound signature, same feeling, you need to look at Goldman. All right, let me see what else we got going on. What other questions? Okay. Okay, let's see. My wife wants me to enjoy life. I appreciate her approach when I read how others live. Do I have any Wilson Audio owners at the moment in this chat? 200 of you watching me. Hit the like button, subscribe. Do I have any Wilson Audio owners right now in this room? If so, let me know, and let me know what your system is, what your system consists of. I'm curious to know how many of you watching me have Wilsons right now. Make a video of you playing music through the Wilsons. I did a couple of shorts. You should have seen them if you follow me. But I plan to make, maybe tomorrow, a video of me playing music through the Wilsons and the Goldman Electronics, through the Cascade. Seems to me the problem in high-end is aiming for Lamborghini types. Pound for pound, it isn't the greatest sports car, but looks the part. Looks rule. Okay, you know I'm in the same boat right now. I spent 2.5 years with several pairs of Wilsons, but the Sasha doll has been my reference the whole time. Got him from Jay as well. Oh, wow, man. Thanks, man. I sold you the Sashas, huh? Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're happy. Hopefully you're happy with the experience. Okay, I'm going to have some testimonials in the future about those of you, from those of you that have done business with me in the past, okay? I would tell you right now, the Sasha DAW to me is a speaker that I would totally retire with. And I've said this in the past. Not the first time I make this statement. Easily retire with the Sasha DAW. Still one, probably the best bang for the buck from Wilson Audio right now is that Sasha DAW. Probably the best one. Probably, okay? But you got to know how to match it up. Okay, you got to know how to match it up. And I'm telling you right now that you bought my Wilsons, you need to look at the integrated from Goldman Electronics for your Wilsons. I promise you, mark my words. I'm telling you right now. At 2025 Exponent, what Puppy's power via Volter components was the most dimensional and amongst the most informational and coherent systems I've heard over the weekend. Boulder has always been known to sound great with Wilson. Thank you for reminding me that I also had Boulder electronics. I had the 3050 Boulder monos with the 2110 or 3010 preamplifier, I think, with my XVXs. So you're right. I forgot Boulder. Boulder's fantastic too. You use your Alexia 2 with Darziel. So Alexia 2 with Darziels. This is the Darziel integrated. I do not believe that you're hearing the most from your Alexia 2s. With that integrated, that is. I do not feel you're hearing not the best that they have to offer you. Now, this does not mean that it sounds bad. we know of a reviewer that has XVXs with Darziel 468s for the longest, right? And he thinks that pairing works well. I have reason to believe that they work quite well with Darziel. For a fact, there is a lot of synergy there. But you've never heard your Alexia 2s using that baby integrated. Okay, Darziel is not known to have the best grip with their more affordable electronics. I think the 468s are a special case. But if you're talking the integrated, there are many other options with far more brute controlling grip for your Alexia 2s. I just said it. Look at the integrated from Goldman. I am telling you right now, you'll come back to me. You'll come back to me and thank me for what I'm saying. Says Wilson, even with the low budget, poor setup, scale and image well, and the bass with the right amp is amazing. I just got done saying that to this other person with Alexia 2s. You need the right amplification, and they do sound amazing. Okay, here are Wilson owners. Tell me what you own. Don't just say I own Wilson. If you're a Wilson owner watching me right now, tell me the product that you have from Wilson and the rest of your system. Sasha 1, what kind of amplification? Tell me the rest of the amplifiers. What puppies are crazy good? I will buy them when I build a room. Yeah, they are really good speakers. Sasha, okay, that's a great amplifier. Pillium Audio, never heard Pillium Audio. Can't speak of Pillium Audio, but I can tell you that I know they're very powerful amplifiers, so I have to believe that they are driving your Sasha just fine, but you gotta look at Goldman Electronics, I'm telling you right now. All right, I'll wait for the rest of the Wilson Audio owners to chime in. What speakers manufacturers do you recommend I look for recording studios that specialize in acoustic recording? You know, that's a tough one, man. For studios, you're gonna have to talk to somebody that deals primarily with that, because that's a whole different world. Look, we talked about Dynaudio having speakers for studios. We talked about TAD making drivers, I think, for studios. We talked about, I think there's other brands that have different models for studio applications. You would really need to talk to those that are dealing with speakers in that world, because they are more qualified than I am, to be honest with you. Great speaker. Sophia, great speaker. No question about it. You got Wilson Antillean on your DAWs. Great speaker, great amplifier. I said it. Griffin Audio. I own Griffins right now. I have a pair of Griffin audio amps for sale. I own another set that I'm using in the reference room. And then I have another set inside my storage unit. I have 3 sets of Griffin amplifiers at the moment. One of them is in use. 2 of them are in storage. So I know Griffin sounds fantastic. You are great about this grip on the speakers. That's why I bought for the interior down Momentum, but the Darziel is too good. Yeah, Darziel is going to be musical. It's going to be engaging. It's a very euphonic sound. It's colored. It's got this sound to it that if you like what it does, it's just, it'll have you salivating over the performance. No question about it. Okay, but you have not heard a Wilson Audio yet. You have not heard it yet. You have not. I'm telling you. Unless you're doing the right amplification, you haven't heard it. That does not mean you cannot get great results with lower watts. Again, that is not what I'm saying. You can get good results, but the best results, that's what I'm talking about. The best out of your speaker doesn't come from low wattage with Wilson Audio, in my opinion. What is the difference in sound signature between Goldman and Solution? Okay, the difference is, I think Solution is, they're both fast, high bandwidth electronics. Let's start there. Made in Switzerland. They also have sheer clarity on both ends. Both of them are very clean, very clear, highly resolving. Low noise, like the noise floor is almost non-existent. It's crazy. I don't know what both of them do. I think Solution, using that switch mode power supply, they have a way of eliminating any sort of buzzing, any humming. You've never heard a Solution owner complain about having buzzing or humming because of their amps. Never. That's not a thing with Solution. It doesn't happen, okay? But I would say Solution is kind of like a mix between Darziel and Solution. Goldman is a mixture of Solution with Darziel, in my opinion. It's both of them. If they both had a baby, I think that's Goldman. Goldman has the speed of Solution, has the bass of Solution, has the immediacy of Solution, the clarity, but I think it's got a hint of what the Darziel sound does, which is this great feeling that you can ease into and just listen for long hours on end. I think that is the biggest calling card on Goldman. It's right dead smack in the middle. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's what I'm here for, okay? Have your questions ready. Let me see. Sasha 1 Pilium amp, MSB reference, Ultra cable, Shunyata Sigma. Great selection of components with your Sasha 1. Really low. I think that probably sounds really good. Really, really good. Will we see the Diablo 333 from review? Right now, in the immediate future, you won't see it. But get ready, because you're going to see a new amplifier from Griffin, potentially in my reference room. Okay? And I'm going to be talking about that. I do have it in my hands. It's in my possession. I haven't had a moment to unpack it, but do expect for a Griffin amplifier, a new amplifier, to be shown in my reference room. So I love Griffin audio. I've said it many times, but I am also having a honeymoon phase with Goldman Electronics. Complete different sound. Griffin and Goldman couldn't be more different. Both have strengths and weaknesses. It's just a matter of choosing what color you like. That's what it all boils down to. I own a pair of Alexia X1s, transparent Opus backbone pair with Hallcrow DM8 88s and Hallgo preamp. Are these the new Hallcrow amplifiers? Because I never heard them. Never heard them. Are they the new model, the 88s that you have, or are they the old one from way back when? Because if you're using the old ones and not the new ones, it might be time for an upgrade. I'm telling you right now, it might be time for an upgrade. The Hallcrow sound tends to be hyper analytical. The old Hallcrow. It might be the new what you've got. But if you got the old one, it's notorious for being extremely, extremely analytical, clinical, sterile, no soul of any kind. Okay, if you have the old ones and you have experienced anything like what I'm saying, now you know why. Yeah, so there you go. You just confirmed it. You have the old Hallcrow amplifiers. I am here to tell you, it is time to get rid of that. That is the most clinical, cold, sterile sounding amplifiers that I have ever heard. Couldn't stand them. So if you find yourself kind of like, man, why is it so bright or so in your face, or I can't ease into the music, it's your amplifiers. I just gave you another reason to buy Goldman. It's your amplifiers. Just what it is. There's nothing that you can do. Hog Girl just has that sound signature, unfortunately. So let me see. Okay, so over the next few days, you're going to see clearly a lot of interesting things come from my rooms. I want you guys to know that none of what I do would be possible without your support, without you being there to follow me, without you being there to listen to me. I have created this beautiful space on YouTube that is the ultra high-end components, ultra high-end hi-fi, if you will. Okay, and I plan to continue to stay on top of it. Every day, every week, I get brand new gear, used components that audiophiles are selling because they're leaving the hobby. If you're an older audiophile, you want to get out of your gear, you're done, you want cash out, send me a message. My email is down below. Okay, let me know what you've got. And if it is appealing to me, I'll buy it off of you. I'll send someone there to pick it up, pack it all up, and I'll send the truck to scoop it up the day after and wire you the money. Okay, so if you have any interest in selling your hi-fi gear, let me know what you've got. I'll take a look. And if I have any interest, I will make an offer. Simple, easy. I'm buying hi-fi gear across all over the US. As a matter of fact, I imported some stuff as well, maybe 2 years ago. So even overseas, but remember, there are tariffs that unfortunately affect what I'd be willing to pay you for your hi-fi gear when you're overseas. But I do buy hi-fi gear from overseas. Okay, now I'm not gonna send you a wire transfer first and then you ship because I don't know where you are in the world. A lot of scam artists are following me. So if you're a scam artist and you're watching me, I know there are some of you out there trying to send me links to my emails to click on and try to send me all sorts of stuff. I've watched this movie before. I've done it before a million times. Go find somebody else to scam. It's not gonna happen to me. I just saw a video from Next Level Hi-Fi where they were sent a check that was fake. Okay, and all this crap there. I know your tactics. Okay, I know who you scam artists are. Go scam someone else. You ain't scamming me. That's why I only take wire transfers. Wire the money or Zelle me the money. That's it. And if I pick up your gear, I send my guy in first, up front to validate that everything is in place, and then you get paid. So if you have any interest in doing business with me, or maybe you got stuff you want to take, you want me to take on trade towards something else I have for sale on my website, let's talk. What do you have that you want to trade in? I'll pay you at trading value what you've got. And then we could put together a deal, and there's probably a smaller cash difference on top always. So there has to be some cash difference. But I can make deals happen that a lot of dealers are not interested in doing for you. Because remember, dealers are in the business to sell new hi-fi. They're not equipment collectors. I am an equipment collector that resells equipment. Dealers are not that. They're not interested in that. Which is why I do a lot of business with dealers across the US that want your trades to be gone. So I was about to buy a Griffin, but the sound signature across all models is very different. It confused me so bad I bought the Rotel. Oh no, you can't compare a Griffin audio to Rotel. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a mistake. That's horrible. Can't do that, man. Can't compare a Griffin product to a Rotel. It's different class, man. Different class. Come on now. I'm shocked that you're talking Rotel and Griffin audio. Okay, I'm very shocked with that. What Puppy 6, Luxman Pre and Power, great combo, man. Luxman sounds great with your Puppy 6s. Great combo, good job. Great job. That's what I just said, Bill. It's exactly what I just articulated to this gentleman. Michi, Rotel, and Griffin, complete different categories. Cannot compare them. But I will say this though. That's not to say that Rotel may not sound good with your Wilsons. If you're happy with that combo, that's all that matters. What matters is that you're happy with Rotel and Wilson. Forget about what I say. Now, about your comment, Griffin and Rotel, Not in the same conversation. Completely different product levels. Two different demographics, if you will. Completely different demographics. You cannot compare them. Thank you for your recommendation. Last year I ordered PS Audio FR5s, which I had the chance to listen to at the Montreal show this year. Are there any speaker cable brands you would recommend? For that brand, given the price point, I would strongly consider Shunyata. There is a Theta line of Shunyata products. Okay, Theta, that sound really good. I think that you would be very happy with Theta Shunyata cables for your application, for your speaker. They build great products, great cables. You see your local dealer, maybe they can let you listen to a Shunyata Theta speaker cable. If you're gonna listen to a Shunyata cable, you need to bring the speaker cables first. Don't get the XLRs, okay? Get the speaker cables first. Those are the ones that are gonna make the biggest change. And then you buy interconnects, power cords, and so on, okay? But Shunyata Theta would be fantastic for your PS Audio speakers. Without a doubt, Bill, I agree with you 1,000%. They do. Do I remember Peter McGraw's hi-fi store in US 1 near University of Miami back in the day? Yeah, I remember that. I remember that, man. I remember those good old days. That's when I had nothing. I was listening to music on a yellow Sony Walkman. Those days, man. Ever use a Lingdorf integrated with room correction? No, I haven't done that, man. It's more of a home theater product, to be honest with you. And that's not to knock on the brand. I'm sure it's probably a good product, but it's just not my wheelhouse. It doesn't feel like it belongs in my portfolio. Okay, that doesn't mean I wouldn't sell it, but it's not something that I would just talk about on my channel. Thank you for your input, Jay. The Goldmans have my attention, and that's the whole goal, is that I put you in the direction of new opportunities, new products that would sound really good with Wilson Audio speakers. Goldman will do that. That's all I'm doing, bring attention to you. Hello, I'm tapping you on your shoulder. Are you a Wilson owner? You may want to look at Goldman. You may want to look at Goldman. Go to your dealer. Go listen to Goldman. Tell them you saw it here. Jay talked about Goldman. I want to go in for an audition. Okay, tell them you saw Goldman at Jay's channel, drove you there. Let them know, because remember, if you're not saying these things, what happens is none of what I say sticks. They can go on to details as far as what could happen, but it's a great thing that if you can articulate to them, I saw Goldman, Jay has been talking about this, now they have my attention. You are a local dealer to me. You're the closest Goldman dealer to me. I want to go and listen to the products. Can I schedule an appointment? That's what you need to say. That's the next conversation you make. Blue color. I wanted to talk to Wilson Audio right now about this blue color. Azure, California, I think it is the color name. Hopefully I didn't kill it. This is, in my opinion, the best looking color out of any Wilson Audio speaker I have ever seen. I bought this color on accident. That happened to be what the customer had bought. These are not new. They came from a client of mine that is leaving the hobby. He has another property. He doesn't get to that property anymore. So he decided, I need to sell. I don't listen to the system as often as I'd like to. And it makes no sense for me to have this money invested. So I came in, I sent my friend Carlos, and he took care of the whole thing. So again, this is a perfect example of how these things arrived. Just like the Sim Audio 861 and the 891 that I have not a chance to list yet. They're in my storage right now. They will be listed in meticulous condition if you have any interest on those Sim Audio pieces. That's what he was using with these, okay? So Wilson Audio, you have won my heart when it comes to this color. Really, The prettiest color I have ever seen on any Wilson audio speaker, period. I'm not a fan of the looks. I've been very vocal about that, of the speaker. I'm not a fan, but honestly, the color kind of makes you forget about the aesthetics of the speaker. It actually makes you overlook the looks, what the speaker, the edges, the way the speaker is, historically been like bashed when it comes to the looks, okay? Because we know that it's a very polarizing look. I would love to see an XVX this color. I would love to see the autobiography in this color. It makes it more pleasant to the eyes. To this day, I don't know why anyone today would order a Wilson audio speaker, brand new, not used. I know if it's used, it's used. Okay, you got to get deals on whatever it's available. But if you're looking for a Wilson audio speaker today and you're going to order from your dealer, do not order black. It's played out. It's ugly. You have no clue how beautiful this color is. Order this color. I'm trying to tell you, it will have a higher wife acceptance factor. I promise you. I promise you. It'll have a higher grade wife approval factor. Okay, don't order black. It's played out. It's the same ugly color. Don't do that. So kudos to Wilson for, giving us the opportunity to order this color. Jay, if you don't mind, just wondering, how does ATC speaker compare to perhaps, I've never heard ATC speakers. If I've heard them, I don't remember it. I mean, that's unfortunately the impression I have about the brand. That's not to say that they don't sound great. That's not to say that they don't have a good product. I just have never sat down to really pay attention to ATC products. Can't wait to get your take on the Griffin Hyperion. I was thinking of buying this one plus the matching preamplifier with the Watt Puppies 50th. I may have stuff for your Watt Puppies. Whenever you buy a speaker like the Watt Puppies, I have a lot of preamps and amps you and I need to talk about that I could sell you. I have a ton of stuff that would work with these speakers. We can start with the Goldman. You don't have to buy the ones I have here. We can start with the integrated, right? That you have to see a dealer for. You have to talk to dealers, okay? But if you are looking for something outside of that, I have a lot of other options for this Wilson. Hi, awesome show. Thanks. Please, would love your opinion on syntheses. No clue what that is, my friend. Never heard of this NYC 500 watt monos. Don't think I would bring it into my channel. It's just not my wheelhouse. I have the Boris and X3s, but I want to hear the Fink Team Kims. Jay, you and OCD love them at the show. They're great speakers. Those Finks are really good speakers. They are. Might be, yes. It might be a pair of the new Antillion Solos. Yeah, could be. Could be a new pair of Antillion Revelations, what I have. It's been years since I've spoken about the Fink Teams. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. I don't really quite remember anymore, but I know I've said a lot about the Fink Team. I know I've said quite a bit about, that speaker itself. But it's been a while. It's been quite a few years. Okay, so let me see. Thank you, Jay, for your authenticity. What are your thoughts on power plants and regenerators? At what point in one's journey into this hobby should they start to consider them? You should be having power conditioner the moment you spend money on a good quality set of speakers. If you do not have a great power conditioner and you have a nice investment on speakers, amps, and preamps, you're doing a disservice to your investment. Power conditioners are a must on any well-designed sound system, or at least dedicated outlets at a bare minimum. You got to do at least dedicated outlets at a bare minimum for your hi-fi. Power conditioners, again, it's kind of like part of the equation, part of the formula. Part of the formula involves a power conditioner. And I'm not going to give out names or brands to use. It's a long topic of conversation. It's a long conversation. But you really need to have power conditioners in your sound system. They make a huge difference. Huge difference. I don't really know of anyone that has a great sounding sound system and has zero power conditioning somewhere in their system. That doesn't mean the whole system, but somewhere in their system. I have never heard of this brand, Radiant Acoustic 66. Never heard of this brand, unfortunately. I don't know of all the brands, unfortunately. I can't speak on every single brand out there. I would trade my Michi X5 that is a powerhouse for an entry-level Griffin 120. I think the 120 is going to do some interesting things. It's really a great integrated, the 120. It's a really good integrated. I really think you'd be surprised how good this integrated would sound with your current speakers, with your Wilsons. I think this integrated would sound really fantastic. I fell in love with the Diablo 300. If you can buy the 300 Diablo, even better. It's a lot better than the 120. But if you can only stretch to the 120, you're going to be perfectly happy with the 120. I'm telling you right now, I fell in love with Griffin when I heard the Diablo 300 and my Wilson Audio Sasha 2s. That's when I first fell in love with Griffin Electronics. Jay, in your opinion, is the hobby in general leaning toward making recordings sound better than they were originally recording or revealing more of the recordings? I think the hobby cannot reconstruct recordings. I think if any brand is trying to reconstruct or editorialize recordings, they really don't have a clear mind. Okay, I think that the job of hi-fi is to get you closer to the performance, to what was recorded at that point in time, to get rid of the noise, to unpeel all this information that shouldn't be there, all this noise, all these blemishes that the recordings have due to bad power, due to bad electronics. I think that the goal of hi-fi as we continue to create new products is just to get you a little closer to those recordings that we all love. And I think there is so much more to peel off the bone that we really have no clue how much farther we can go right now. There is so much more that we do not know in hi-fi, in my opinion, in product, in the manufacturing of products, and how far we can go with engineering and new ideas, new engineers coming into the industry, new ways of approaching sound reproduction. I don't think we've seen the end of it or the best of it yet. Think about where we were with televisions. 1990s Sony Trinitron. Everybody was swearing that's their last TV. Everyone thought that was their last television. Look where we are today. Look at what you can buy at Walmart for $300. It would kick the hell out of the Sony Trinitron from 1990. And how much is that Sony Trinitron from the 90s? It was a lot of money, remember? And it was like 300 pounds. You remember that? It was very heavy. You can go buy a TV now for $200 that would kick the shit out of those TVs from the 90s. We have better cameras now, like this one that I'm watching, that you're watching me on right now. We have better color saturation. We have better, everything, color palettes, everything is better, right? About video. It's the same for audio. Same for audio. Unfortunately, video has something that, is really sad, which is video changes too fast. If you think audio changes fast, video is the worst. Every year we have a new television model of the same model you just bought. It's not like it's a new release of something new. It's the TV you bought today. It's like your iPhone. Every year we have a new iPhone. It's the same thing for video, unfortunately. We complain a lot of times about hi-fi. Oh my God, every year there's something new. I'm tired of it. You'd be surprised. Hi-fi actually takes around the same amount of time as the car industry does to release a new product. Some brands take a little less, but on average, it's about a 5-year turnaround before we see a new model. On average, most brands take 5. Some others, like Boulder, they take longer. Griffin takes about a decade to replace an amplifier. But in video, good luck with that. It's bad. So to answer your question, I do think that the goal for hi-fi manufacturers is to get us closer to what was recorded. They're not trying to reconstruct or edit or editorialize anything. That's not what they're trying to do. Okay, let me see. Do I need a power for each component? You need a great power conditioner for your system. Choose your poison, whatever brand you want. It's up to you, okay? If you want to know my take on what you should buy, schedule a consultation with me. Okay, we can do that privately. But you should buy a great power conditioner. You should definitely plug into the back of a power conditioner. Ideally, you want to have your DACs, your preamps, your music servers, your CD players into the power conditioner. If you have decent power and dedicated lines, which don't cost very much to get an electrician to your house and give you at least a pair of dedicated lines, you should have enough power with those 2 dedicated lines to plug in your monos or your stereo amplifier. That should be enough, assuming that you have a decent, good quality power cord for your amps. And if that doesn't work, plug the amplifiers into the back of your power conditioner and compare. You should decide what sounds best. Do amps sound better into the wall, connected into the wall, or in the power conditioner of choice? You have to make those comparisons. I'm not there. I can't tell you what sounds best. Sometimes the results could be shocking. I've had cases in which I get better sound by connecting the amps into the wall, which is how you see my Goldman amp right there. It's plugged into the wall, right? But that's an incredible level of amplification. That may not be the case for a more affordable amplifier. There are compromises that are made within more affordable amplifiers to reach a certain price point. And then the rest is done by you, meaning better noise isolation and suppression. That's through a great power conditioner. And so your power amplifier would definitely benefit from plugging it into a power conditioner. Okay, but yes, you should have a power conditioner. My advice is buy it, get something that has 6 to 8 outlets, okay, and do your own trials. Plug everything into it, assess the situation, unplug your amps, go into the wall with only the amps, assuming you have dedicated outlets again, okay, which you should do anyway. Plug the amps in there, okay, get some quality power cords for the amp though, okay, plug them into the wall and then compare. Does that sound better than plugging everything into the power conditioner? You do your own comparisons and then you decide what sounded best to you. But you should definitely own a power conditioner. I mean, look, I've had vinyl in the past, you can see my channel, you can see my reaction, I don't have any vinyl at the moment. I could easily make a phone call and have a great turntable here if I wanted to. It's that simple. I have the space to put a turntable if I wanted to right now, okay? It's not right now in my plans because I'm working in my reference room. I don't have time to dedicate to a turntable setup. I think a turntable setup comes when the rest of your system is where it needs to be. Then it's easy to just drop the turntable in place, pay an expert to come out and set it all up the right way, and then you enjoy. I would never be a tinkerer. I can't be a tinkerer with turntables. I would never be a happy camper if I had to embark on playing with a turntable because I know it gives me a lot of options to tinker with a lot of adjustments, and I don't want to mess with that. Don't want to mess with that. When you give me an equalizer, man, I actually become more frustrated than a happy camper. I have too many knobs to play with. Now I'm changing every knob through every song and I never stop tinkering. I am not a person that does well with equalizers, knobs. It doesn't work for me. Give me something that sounds good from the get-go and eliminate the possibility of me having to tweak things. Now, I do tweak my sound systems because that is the nature of my YouTube channel. Remember that. That's what I do. So of course I'm going to be replacing cables with the Wilsons. Of course I'm going to be replacing power cords on the Goldman Tellus 2800 and the Nemesis reference preamplifier. Yeah, of course I'm going to do that. That's because I have to do that to entertain you guys. But it's not easy to do that. It's hard as hell to tinker because I end up listening to music for 30 minutes and tinkering for 5 hours. You see what I'm saying? And there's no joy in that. This is why I'm building my reference room. My reference room, which you guys have not seen, is exactly that. When I finish tuning it, I'm not touching it. This is the place this is my workspace. The other one is my peace. The other room is where I sit down and enjoy my music and don't want to play with nothing but music in front of me. I have no experience at the moment with any of those products that you mentioned, but I did recommend Goldman for you, and you should really look into Goldman. Absolutely, you need to do the comparisons. That's what I said. He needs to do the comparisons on his own. He needs to do that. He determines what sounds best to him. I'm not there, and neither are any of us here today. Do I like beryllium tweeters? I do like beryllium tweeters. I do. But I will say beryllium tweeters, unfortunately, aren't for everyone. Neither are ribbon tweeters, AMT tweeters, diamond tweeters. They're not for everyone. Okay, softum tweeters, the same thing. They're not for everyone. Some of you are very driven to drawn to hyper detailed tweeter presentations. And so you are a fan of beryllium tweeter because of that. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. These having soft dome tweeters and the speaker in there having a different type of tweeter technology couldn't be more different. My Martins that are sitting behind the camera are diamond tweeters, a different type of tweeter. So what am I trying to say? Beryllium tweeters are great, but I do know that some of you, and rightfully so, can get fatigued with beryllium tweeters. And there's a reason for that, guys. There is a reason for that. Beryllium tweeters, to me, give you a ton of information, detail at high volumes and low volumes. Really good at that. So is diamond tweeter. The problem that I have with beryllium tweeters is if you don't really set up that type of tweeter correctly by pairing it with the right electronics, cabling, right, in the room, I am afraid your listening sessions are going to be short-lived. One reason why Focal is known to cause ear fatigue. Now, to be fair, some of you may be saying, I've had Focals. I've never had ear fatigue. As I said, this is not something that you apply to in every single case. I'm telling you, for the most part, beryllium tweeters can be fatiguing if you're not setting up the system properly. Okay, because that tweeter tends to really overload your senses, especially if you're playing with the wrong amplification and you are not driving that speaker with enough power. Okay, when you put on the amplification on a speaker that is demanding and that amplifier is not up to snuff, it doesn't have enough power, that beryllium tweeter, when you crank up that speaker, it will make you run out of that room because that's distortion that's happening. And you guys are thinking that distortion has to be like the good old days where you overdrove the woofers and you heard them go, oh my God, it's distorting. That's not what distortion doesn't have to be that way. Distortion doesn't mean the woofers need to make that noise for you to know it's distorting. No, distortion can happen in milliseconds. And you don't even detect it as distortion at that moment, but it's distorting. Usually with beryllium tweeters, the easy way, the way it manifests itself is through a high-pitched sound. It's too like aggressive. The tweeter gets too much. That's usually a sign of distortion through beryllium tweeters. I like beryllium tweeters, but I don't like beryllium tweeters from every loudspeaker out there. You own two turntables, but it's getting more difficult to convince myself it's better than streaming. I don't blame you, man. Steve, I have not commented on what speakers are there, and I will do so when I formally release my reference room. That's when you'll know. You have to do hard work to undo the brightness of vocals, but the electronics, with the right electronics and also setting up the tweeter correctly, that's key. Yes, I agree with that. That's very true. How would I compare Goldman to the CH-M10? It's a very difficult conversation to have right now. We're gonna have to pause there and leave it for my next live stream. Okay, I'm gonna think about it over the next few days and answer that. Make sure you are part of this live stream, maybe next Sunday when I do it again, and ask me the same question. Okay, so bring it up. Let me know that I left it at this, because I'll forget. I got a lot of things in my head, a lot of things on my head that will make me forget this question. Okay. But for now, folks, it's been 2 hours and 2 minutes. I've had a lovely chat, lovely conversation with all of you. Thank you for your support as always. Thank you. Please share my channel, share my videos on every website that you visit. Help me spread the channel. Help the channel have greater reach than it does. Okay. And I would always be thankful for that. Always become a part of my Facebook group. Do not forget, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm going to put the link in the description. Click on it. Go there. Send me the notification. The only thing I ask is that you have a picture, a profile picture of your Facebook profile. Make sure you have a picture. I don't accept people without a picture. Okay, it's creepy to do that. It's creepy, okay? But it's cool. My Facebook community is cool. They share a lot of their sound systems. People can see what you guys are doing. And you guys get to see in advance sometimes clips and images of things that are happening in the room, because I don't have to edit anything. I can just shoot and send it. On YouTube, you gotta have a video editor almost behind every video. Every video needs almost a video editor. It's too much work for YouTube. It's more for professional delivery of things, except for live streams, because they're a static conversation and me just talking into the camera. But else, it's a lot of work. Gotta wait for my wife to hold the camera. She has to have the time to follow me around the room so I can talk about whatever it is that I'm talking about. YouTube is more time consuming. Facebook is easier. All I need is my phone. Shoot, send it to my group, and you get to see things faster. Convenience is the key for Facebook, for me. Okay? Thank you for your support, folks. I appreciate everything you do for me. Stay tuned for more. Next week, you're going to have more, your first sound clips of the Wilson Watt Puppy, which I need to put on these, the special, what do they call those Wilson footers that they sell, the aftermarket footers, the footers they make, diodes or whatever they call them. I'm going to put those speakers under those, and then we're going to start shooting our first videos of the Wilson Watt Puppy 50th anniversary. Hopefully you guys like what you hear. Thank you for your support. Do not forget to check out my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Bye for now.